Well, this has been an interesting journey as I look for a 66 Mustang, determining prices, and really going to the nth degree to figure out what is a good price for a 66 Mustang. And I've taken you through the results from the Me Come Kiss Me auction in 2021 and established a baseline price for the coupe, convertible, and fastback, and then postulated prices for the various option packages and kind of come up with what looks like proper prices for the various option packages and conditions and engine upgrades and so on. And so now we're going to look at, in this video, I'll take a look at what the cars for sale are on classics.autotrader.com. And in the companion video to this, I'll look at prices on eBay of current cars for sale. So here we go. Let's look at some cars for sale. All right, so I'm going to look at some cars for sale that are listed on classics.autotrader.com. First, we have a barn find 66 convertible. If somebody's looking for a project, this would be a good one for you. You can see we've got some rust, standard interior. It's got a rally pack. As you can see, pretty dirty. I think that's all the pictures. Did I see an engine picture in there? That's an indication. Well, there's a nice underbody. Like those old-fashioned thrust side pipes. Thrush, I think they were called. At any rate, 289 two-barrel, 3-speed manual transmission. I think it wasn't running, but a convertible. So if somebody wants a project, there's the car for you. So base price $9,300. So from our $30,000, basically dropped off over 20 grand for the condition, sitting since the early 80s. So if somebody wants a project, there you go. They used to have a nice, at least up until today, a stock coupe with a 289 4-speed listed for about $22,000. I see it's missing, so either the listing has expired or it's been sold. And I thought that was right at our base price. But next, let's look at this 66 Mustang listed at $27,000. It's not a GT. It does have the pony interior. Standard looking engine. 3-speed manual transmission. It's a C-code engine. It's got power steering. Looks like manual brakes. And so if we take a standard 20,000 base, we add our 5,000 for our pony interior, and then nothing else about it. Maybe subtract a little bit for the 3-speed. 27 is a good asking price. You know, I think a little less than that it should go for. The condition looks pretty decent. Does it show the mileage on this one? 107,000, a little on the high side. Probably going to need a little bit of suspension work, but that's to be expected. So a reasonable asking price, I think, for that one. All right, next we've got a 66 asking $27,500. Another standard C code. You can see that in the engine code right here. Pretty stock engine compartment in that light Ford blue. As an aside, I think that dark Ford blue looks much better from the later models. And then a standard interior. It's got a console. So really the only thing that it's added is a console to our base $20,000 coupe price. It's got the fancy wire wheels, which some people will like, certainly for a concourse. That's a nice, you know, a daily driver, Sunday driver type car. And probably a little overpriced at $27,500, I would think. But it looks pretty clean, so that's something that helps a bit. It says 1,400 miles. I'm sure it's got a bit more than that. All right, next. This is a 6-cylinder, so I'm ignoring those. Here we've got this one. Now I just saw this on eBay for $2,000 less, which I'll cover in a separate video. So we've got a 66, we've got some wide wheels in the back, skinnier tires in the front. Obviously somebody that likes drag racing. It's got a 302 actually transplanted into it with a 5-speed. You can see how it's kind of jacked up in the back. Not a GT car. There you can see the engine. Aftermarket radiator. It's got aftermarket carburetor. So there's been some work done to it. Looks like an MSD ignition. Standard interior. 5-speed trans. No rally pack. No console. So they're asking on this listing $8,000 more. I think overpriced. I can't see an $8,000 premium for getting a 302 5-speed dropped into a 66 coupe. I think the wheels are going to be a matter of taste, if somebody likes them or not. So I think this one's a bit overpriced. And probably why they dropped it on eBay. Alright. This one looks like a pretty decent car we've got. And it doesn't tell me if it's an A-coat or not. But we've got a GT car with the pony interior, that same light blue. We've got the styled steel wheels. And there's our pony interior, nice two-tone white and blue. Color may or may not be to someone's taste. Factory 4-speed shifter. There's our fog light switch. It does not have the chrome trim rings around the pedals. You can see a little bit of wear. Not bad, but overall not bad. A little bit of added to the engine. You can see it's got an aluminum intake. If you can see in there. There we go. That's a better shot of it. And doesn't say anything else about what's been added to it. But it looks like a little bit of option to the engine. Can't tell if that's an aftermarket ignition system. It's certainly got different plug wires, at least in color. So that $28,900. So if we look at a $20,000 base price, $5,000 for a GT, $5,000 for a pony interior, that would put us at $30,000. And we're $1,000 under that, so I think we're in the ballpark. It might be a little bit worn for condition. What does it say for mileage? Doesn't list the mileage, but otherwise, I think that's right in the ballpark price-wise. All right, now let's look at this one at $32,000. Paint is certainly shinier. Not a GT. We've got the styled steel wheels, a bit of an upgrade in the engine. It's got AC, and there's the original AC compressor from the factory. You can see what a big unit that is. The new ones are more efficient. It looks like it's got an aluminum intake, and probably a carb under there. Interesting valve covers. I've never seen the blue, but look at the interior. Pony interior, okay. So it's not a GT. It's got the pony and a little bit of engine modification and probably better, shinier paint. So comparing to that blue one, we take away the GT, we add a little nicer condition, and end up with a higher price. So probably overpriced, I would think. Now a lot of these cars have been on this site for a while. Here's another one. And that tells me that they're a bit overpriced. And you get a lot of these where the owner has that pride of ownership. So here we've got a C-code Mustang, not a GT. Red interior with a white exterior. And I'm just looking for the options. So not a pony. We've got a Sun tack or Sun style tack. Factory shifter. Aftermarket wheel, Shelby style. And for all of that, they're asking $33,000. So what do we have to add on to our base price for that? I don't know how to get to that $33,000 price, to be honest with you. Here's one that's been a recent repaint, asking $35,000. And you can see it's got a 5-speed that's been added. T-code looks like it was the original 6-cylinder with a transplant. Where's the engine picks? There we go. Aluminum intake, cast iron cylinder heads. It's got the hypo style chrome plated valve covers. It looks like power brakes. You can see an aftermarket master cylinder and a power brake booster. Manual steering. Pretty nice intake. There we go, nice Holley carburetor. So he's done some work to the engine, at least externally. And then skipping ahead to the interior. So we've got disc brakes, that's an option. It's a standard interior, but so not a GT, but with disc brakes. So that's a nice feature. And they've added the chrome trim rings. And for that, for $35,000. So base price of $20,000. We've got a bit of an upgraded engine, 5-speed transmission upgrade. You know, to do that is a $4,000 package plus the labor. I'll let you do the math. All right, so let's skip ahead. You know, we got again. You know, we've got a car that's not a GT, $35,000, hot V8 under the hood, upgraded front disc brakes. Okay. Same thing here. Not a GT, $35,000, $36,000. It's got a 302, and again, $38,000. 29 with a T5, a manual 5-speed. It's got a bit of a suspension. At any rate, let's look at this convertible. Asking $39,900, $40,000. It's not a GT, even though it has the GT fog lights on the back, and it also they've added the trumpet exhausts in the back, but not a GT car. So we get a little bit of bump for the features added, but still. Standard engine, chrome valve covers, cast iron manifold, standard ignition. I can't quite see the carburetor. I think it's the standard auto light. Standard interior. So $30,000 convertible base price. Not a GT, not a pony. It's clean. Can we get to that $40,000 even if we start with a base price of $35,000? Have we added enough to get that $40,000 asking price? All right, there's one other coupe that I wanted to just quickly cover. So we've got a C code GT with a 4-speed. Looks nice. No other details to it. Standard interior. It's got the upgraded, and this is an automatic instead of the manual, despite being reported as a 4-speed. That Shelby style wheel. And really, that's all that they've added. I think it was a recent repaint. You know, a standard engine. You can see it's got the cast iron manifold, cast iron heads, the original valve covers. It's got power steering, and it looks like power brakes. They put on an export brace. So, do we get to $40,000 with a few upgrades? You know, a nice paint job, power steering, and power brakes. Does that get us to $40,000? You know, even with the GT, I can't see it getting there. I'm going to skip ahead. This Fastback. So in my previous video, I looked at a standard Fastback. It was a GT, but a C code with a 3-speed transmission. I think it was a C code. It sold at $49,500 a year ago, and now we've got one at $57,500. It's another GT. This has the pony interior, standard shifter. It's got AC, so that's a bit of a bump. You can see the pony. You don't see these too often in pictures, but that's the other added advantage of the pony, is that door light. Now you can see just a little hint of rust behind the weather stripping. That might be glue, but a little rust here. That's pretty clean. I mean, that's easy to clean up. I wouldn't even be worried about that. Let's get the engine. we can do anything with that. Again, it's got those speakers mounted in the kick panels. I thought there was an engine picture. But a very clean car. Maybe I can't get to an engine picture. Oh, there we go. So you can see we've got aftermarket AC compressor, replacing, if you remember, that previous one with the big clunker. But still, cast iron intake, probably a stock engine. They've upgraded valve covers. I'm going to guess it's still got the factory Autolite carburetor and a nice air cleaner. No export brace, no Monte Carlo bar, but $57,500 asking price. So I think we're certainly in range. If we look at that $49,500 for the standard interior Fastback that we looked at in the other video, we're looking at, you know, if this sells at $55,000, I think we're right there price-wise. We've taken an extra $5,000 for that pony interior over the other one, and that puts us right in range. And there's a convertible resto mod at $60,000. I'm going to skip that. Let's look at another Fastback right here. Then they start getting exotic. It's not a GT. It's got GT fog lamps. Come on, mouse. I know there were some pictures, and we've got the trumpet exhaust. And a pony interior console. It's got the rally pack, the original wheel, the original style wheel at least. We don't have the wood grain trim on the console, so probably an aftermarket console. But a pretty clean car, and that price at $60,000. So we don't have the GT, we do have the pony. It's pretty clean, a little bit to the engine. Again, we're probably, I would take the that white one with the I think over the red one from a pure price standpoint. And then last, let's just take, well, let's take a look at two of these here. So here we've got one at $60,795. It's got a 306 engine. It's been pretty modified. You can see it's got a custom interior. I think your better pricing and your better buy is this GT. You know, true GT car. I believe this was the A code. Yeah, true A code. So with the GT, it's going to have the factory disc brakes. Let's look at our engine. So we've got an aluminum intake. I can't tell. It looks like it's not. It looks like a Holley carburetor in there, not the Autolite. Aluminum heads. Still got cast iron exhaust manifold. So there's been a little bit of work done to it. Standard interior. So we've lost the. So if we look at the white one we looked at in the other video at $49,500, that sold a year ago, we're basically taking that same car. Maybe a little nicer condition, but we're adding another $12,000 in price. A couple of engine mods. It's got a 4-speed instead of a 3-speed. And really, that's where we're at. So you can see the Fastback prices climb pretty quickly. And then from there we go up pretty fast, you know, 70,000. So a Tribute GT350, you know, another Fastback at 85,000, and then we're going up from there. So I think that'll give you some idea. We've got some decent cars for sale. You know, the couple of Fastbacks look decent. Most of the convertibles look to me like they're overpriced. A lot of coupes I think are overpriced. You know, and there's a couple of decent deals in here. You know, I like this one. I think this was a good buy. A couple of the Fastbacks I thought were decent. 6 cylinders I'm ignoring. You know, this is probably a little on the high side. This looked like it was a decent buy. You know, if that went for 25, I think there's a good buy there. This one I would ignore unless you want to do a full resto job. So there you go. Prices of cars for sale on classics.autotrader.com.